Okay. All right. Oh, I don't like this glare, and that bothers me. It says no card in camera. I'm gonna have to put a card in the camera. Give me a second. Ooh, now we blurry. Goodness gracious. There we go. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Whew, goodness. I'm still blurry. Just give me a second. Technical difficulties. Oh, nope. It's closer. Can't even see that well. Is it me? It's my eyes? Hold on. Okay, that looks better. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep these glasses on only because the glare is bothering me. Okay, let me take them off. Just trying to look all smart and educated, but listen, ain't nobody got time for that right now. Bonjour, bonsoir, comment est-ce que fait? C'est Jasmine là. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? I'll wait. And get the likes up while you're at it. Get the likes up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on the bell so you get notifications from me. Let me know if you can hear me because I don't know if my mic is working properly. So just let me know, and awesome. So you guys can hear me well. So hello, everyone. I am Jasmine Rose, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my live. Today, we're going to be talking about the most hottest topic on the internet right now, and that is Mr. Kevin Samuels of Mr. Kevin Samuels, the YouTube channel. You know, my mind was conflicted having to do this topic only because, just like the bonnet video, super polarizing. Either you love him or you hate him, right? And, I kind of wanted to have a conversation with you guys. So this should be fun, right? This should be interesting. I'm curious to know how this is going to work out. All right. So before we get into all of that, I would like to know, where in the world are you right now? Comment. Let me know, where in the world are you watching from? I'm always curious to know where my supporters are, and it'll also allow me to kind of possibly plan my next vacay, Who knows? Okay. Jersey is in the house. Jersey's in the house. What up, Ohio? Ohio is in the house. Okay, all right. And also, make sure you keep those likes up because that helps me. And if it helps me, it's going to help you, because that means I'm going to be on here regularly. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn in the house. I know that's right, because we go hard. Okay. Drink of the evening. Glo. Creole word of the day is glo. D-L-O. Glo. It means water. I think that should be something I incorporate more into these lives or into my videos, more Haitian Creole. I think that'll be fun. I was just telling my friend Lisa Alamo that I wanted to talk more Creole. So I'm going to do that. And That's the word of the day. Dlo. Okay, map bue dlo jodia. I'm drinking water today. Okay, we got Florida in the house, Antigua in the house, Alabama in the house. Okay. Oh, yes. I have to mention also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, Pukisa. That's another Haitian word or another Creole word, Pukisa, which means why. Why? If you are not following me on Instagram, why are you not following me? Today, I just posted a reel that has to do with bonnets, and it's a funny reel. I think you will enjoy it. If you want to laugh, check it out. It's less than 30 seconds and it's hilarious. I would greatly appreciate it if you like, if you share, if you support it. I would like to make this reel go viral. I think it has the potential to do that. So my Instagram link is in the description box along with everything else. And thank you in advance. Okay. Toronto is in the house. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. The bonnet reel, it definitely slaps. And that's a clue for you. That's a clue. All right. So now that we've gotten all of the housekeeping out the way for now, I also wanted to incorporate something new to the live streams where I want to know from you, what are you grateful for? I have been on this journey of gratitude. I am trying to continuously have an attitude of gratitude, right? And I think it's important that we share what we are grateful for every single day, because it's all about changing that frequency, So when you have an attitude of gratitude, you are just in this world with optimism, with positivity, and the universe will conspire to continually bring you that positivity in your life. So one of the things that I am grateful for today is clean laundry. I did some laundry today, and that was definitely one thing I was grateful for today. Another thing I am grateful for today is that I was actually able to eat solid foods today. So today I had a kale Caesar salad, and it was delish, even though I put a little bit too much garlic in it, but you know what? It's cool. It's whatever, but I am grateful for those two things. So I'm curious to know, what are you grateful for today? Leave them in the comments. Leave them in the comments while I send a text. All right. What are you grateful for today? Okay. All right. Anna is grateful for her husband supporting her through her mom's passing. My condolences to you, Anna. My condolences to you. I can't even imagine what it would be like to lose a mom. I lost my dad in 2016, and I was heartbroken, but I had amazing people in my life to help lift me up and to do all the things that I needed help with, and yeah, I'm glad that you have that support system. So yes, he's a keeper. Jessica is grateful to be at peace in her room after a long day of work. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Yes, we love peace. This is something that we need to continuously have in our lives. Peace. Peace. All right. King Cooper is grateful for all of his 5 senses. But don't you mean 6 senses? Just saying. But yes, 5 senses. You got your eyesight, your scent, or not your scent, but your sense of smell, taste, hearing, feeling. Did I name them all? Eyes, nose, mouth, ears. I think I got them all. Ashe. Ashe for all the 5 senses. All right. Is that all we're grateful for today? Just one thing. If you could think of one thing you're grateful for today, what would it be? That's it. All right. So, might as well just get on with this live, right? I know you are just waiting to get to the conversation, and I am kind of ready, kind of not to have this conversation, but we need to have this conversation. I know a lot of Black women follow me, and I want us to talk. I want us to have this dialogue. And there are even some men that follow me. And hey, if you have something to share, yeah, we should definitely have a dialogue about this, right? And I want to say after the first intermission, I definitely want to bring some of you guys on. If you guys wanted to get on camera, get on the live with me, there will be an opportunity to do that after the intermission. So definitely stay tuned for that. Sweet Tea is grateful for health and a peace of mind. Ashe. Health is wealth. And your peace of mind, listen, that's heaven right there. All right. Odessa is grateful for her health, children, and progress in her budding business. Ashe. Ashe, Odessa. Ashe. Yeah. Oh, fun little fact. Me and Odessa went to high school together. Shouts out to Samuel J. Tilden High School. And you know a little bit about me and her now. Okay, so let's have this conversation that I have been avoiding to have with y'all. Okay, because y'all know I don't like problems. I don't like confrontation. I don't like arguments. But we need to talk about it because it's important. It's important to have this conversation. So let me start off by just giving a rundown of who Kevin Samuels is, right? So Kevin Samuels is a 50-something-year-old image consultant, content creator. He's on YouTube and Instagram and all the social medias, right? He is most known for the video where he called a particular woman average at best. That video kind of went viral, kind of made its way through the internets. And yeah, so Kevin Samuels first got on YouTube talking to men, helping men with their image and I guess their behaviors. Like instead of like being what you call it, a simp, you know, so going from a simp to an alpha male type figure, but he eventually ended up talking to women, and he's currently talking to women right now. A lot of women who go on his shows are a lot of women who go on his show are looking for high value men. Because his show is all about high value men. If I'm look, if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. Okay. So yeah, he is now talking to women now on his YouTube channel and his Instagram and all that. Now, the reason why he's a very polarizing person in the community is, well, not only what he says, but the way he says it. And a lot of women are not a fan of that at all. And I don't remember when I first heard about Kevin Samuels. I definitely heard about the Average at Best video. But then when I actually like sat down to watch a video of his and watched his interaction with these women, there were many different reactions that came up, right? The first reaction I got, or that I exuded, or whatever, was anger. And it was anger. It was the disagreeable emotions, right? So it was anger. I was offended, because obviously I am not a 20-something-year-old. And while I don't have kids, I'm no longer married, and I'm sure he would have a problem with that too. So, the things that he was saying, I felt offended by. I didn't want to listen to anything he had to say, right? And I don't remember what video it was that I watched from him, but after a while, I started really listening. I mean, yeah, I was watching his lives, and I was getting angry, and I was getting offended and all that stuff. And I didn't want to hear much of what he had to say because I was so offended. I didn't want to let his words in, right? But then I sat down with myself and I reflected on the things that he was saying. And I realized, well, the things that he was saying wasn't necessarily wrong. It was just the way he said it that kind of stung even more than what he said, right? So at this point, okay, so the question is, does Kevin Samuels help or harm the community? And I asked this question on my community page on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, if you follow me on YouTube, obviously if you follow me on YouTube, you're watching here. But if you check out my community page, I've been posting on my community page every single day now. I took a poll this morning and I asked folks, does Kevin Samuels help or harm the Black community? Here is the results. Over 85% of people say that he harms the Black community, and only 15% say that he helps the Black community. I'm actually not surprised at that response. And I was actually looking at the comments from that post, that actual post. And I could post a couple things here. I don't know if you'll have time to read it, but there was some really interesting dialogue happening in this poll. And I kind of wanted to discuss it. And you know what? If folks from the community page wanted to like further explain. It's 9 o'clock. Thank you. If folks wanted to further explain their viewpoints, then we will definitely have time for that after the intermission. But for me to answer the question, right? Does Kevin Samuel help? Does Kevin Samuels help or harm the Black community? I'm going to say that he helps the community. I'm going to say that he helps the community. His delivery may not be what we want to hear, what we as women want to hear. We don't want to hear that we're fat, that we're old, that, all these negative. We don't want to hear that. I get it. I get it. But at the end of the day, he's saying these things to light a fire under folks. I know when some folks hear, like, what? Let's say, for instance, Kevin Samuel says, you're fat. And I don't like to, I don't know why I was so hesitant to say that word. Whew, it's getting hot in here. Wouldn't that inspire someone to want to lose the weight, right? And obviously being overweight is something that is unhealthy, something that can cause even more medical issues down the line. Why would we want to subject ourselves to that when we're older? The older we get, the slower our metabolism is, the more issues we have. Why not want to fix those issues, right? I get it. What he says and the sound effects he uses, it's kind of degrading, if you ask me. One of my friends actually mentioned to me Shahrazad Ali, right? Shahrazad Ali, somewhat similar to Kevin Samuels in talking to Black women and telling us to clean up our act and all that stuff. She doesn't have the same delivery as Kevin Samuels, yet it's still effective. It's still palatable, right? You can find a lot of her videos or a lot of her speeches and videos on YouTube. I've watched several of her videos. I actually really like Shahrazad Ali. I think she is really amazing. And what she says and how she says it's very palatable. Like, I get it. She says things on the level, right? So there are people who've been talking about Black women and wanting to help clean up the Black female image. But I don't know if it's working. I don't know if it's working. And hear me out, right? I was talking to Mr. Man about this morning, and I was really trying to get to the bottom of it, right? Like, why are we as a Black community the way we are? And the only thing, or the main thing I could come up with, is the music. Hear me out. So I love music. I'm inspired by music. Sometimes music makes me do things I wouldn't otherwise do. Music can somewhat be brainwashing. If you're listening to certain types of music, you are going to become that thing. Just like that quote says, you are what you eat. You are what you think about. You are what you listen to. Music is somewhat of a mantra, right? Something that you listen to, something that you absorb. And so the music these days with the babies, the little babies, we got the Megan Thee Stallions, we got the Cardi B's, we got all of these images that are not really agreeable. I'm gonna be honest. And I want to so badly support these women. I like rap. I love rap. okay? But it's just like the rap that is pushed, the rap that is popular is all about the sex and and the ass and the many girls and the money and the drugs and the this and the that. Listen, I can't fill up my head with that trash. I just can't. I just can't. And you know, I'm actually thinking about reacting to Megan Thee Stallion's music video that's coming out on Friday. So, you know, if you want to see that, let me know. Keep the likes up. Keep the likes up. So, yeah, I haven't had time to look at these comments. I'm sorry. But if you want your comment to be seen, I'm sorry if I'm unable to read and like fully digest your comments right now. But if you have something to say and you want to share and you want it like feature, just send me a super chat. Those are being prioritized right now. Right now, I'm just like talking and I'm hoping that I don't get like slammed for saying the things that I'm saying. I've never been one who wants to shake my ass. One, I grew up in a very sheltered Haitian home. And two, that's just not what I was around either. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing all this stuff on the Instagrams, on the TikToks, things that are trending, things that are popular. I miss the days of Lauryn Hill. I miss the days of Sade. I miss music with substance. I'm tired of all the sex music. I get it. You know, sometimes when you want to get a little busy, maybe you could throw that on, but like that's not something I want to listen to on the radio, which is why I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Spotify is my thing. I have my specific playlist that I listen to, and I am straight with that. Look. Some people are saying it's not the music. Music is definitely part of the problem. It's what we listen to on a regular basis, is what plays outside of my window every single day. Every single day. It's, you got these little kids singing it. Listen, if it's not the music, if it's not just the music, then tell me what it is. Leave me a super chat if you want a response from me. Okay? And while there are many conscious female rappers, why aren't they mainstream? No Name stopped rapping. Who else is a conscious rapper? You know, let's talk about the mainstream people I do listen to. I love her. Her, I love her. Who else do I love? Let me look at my Spotify because I like the Hamilton soundtrack. That's what I like. Uh, Beyonce's cool too. Yeah, Willow has some good music. Who else do I listen to? That's really it in terms of female rappers. But if we're talking overall music that I do listen to, love Chris and Teeb. That Chris and Teeb are amazing. I love Londrell. Let's see, who else do I listen to? And I listen to chill hop. I listen to music without lyrics because I don't want garbage in my head all the time, 24/7. It really has an effect on me at the end of the day, and I can sense it. I could sense it all. So listen. So yeah, that's what I think of the state of the world today. Kevin Samuels, I don't think he is harmful to the Black community. His delivery is not the greatest, but his messaging is clear. Get fit, stay healthy, Someone actually mentioned this, actually. Get fit, stay healthy, don't have kids out of wedlock, be realistic when choosing a spouse, be agreeable, peaceful to be around. Let me put this up because yeah, this is what Kevin Samuels says. His delivery, not the greatest. I agree with that. That's something we can all agree on. But if you look back at his earlier videos of him talking to the men, the way he talked to the men was a lot worse. I'm talking brutal. Like, oh, I would have hated to have called his show up as a man back in the day. I wouldn't even call up his show right now, honestly. No. I know what I need to work on. I don't need anyone like blasting it out on the internet. But thank you, Deborah, for that. I appreciate you. So, yeah, that's what I got. And I'm gonna have some of you guys on to talk your piece, and I'll moderate. I'll have someone who is pro Kevin Samuels on here. I'll have someone who is not pro Kevin Samuels, and we're gonna have a healthy dialogue. Keyword healthy, because we're keeping it classy on this channel. There's not gonna be any cursing. There's not gonna be any sort of derogatory remarks. I'm interested to know what y'all think. So I have been talking. I didn't think I'd be talking for this long, but whew, I'm glad I finally got it out there. Oh, King Cooper. Okay. Well, thank you for the super chat, King Cooper. Thank you for the super chat. So right now, we're going to take a brief intermission. And if you want to get on this live stream, at the very bottom of the description box of this video, you will find the link to the StreamYard. So, are you ready? Am I ready? Lord help me. All right. Let's go on break real quick.
Yeah. If someone can master an instrument or a technology or a skill or a trade, I want to master myself. I want to be able to know myself to a level of mastery. So I'll be able to use my mind, my body, my spirit, my teeth, my organs, my eyesight, my hearing, whatever. I can use all my abilities in a masterful way. That way I can master life. If I can master myself, I have mastered life. I think that's what Bruce Lee was doing to a degree of mastering the human body. I think that's what his whole ideal was, to master the human body. His human body, obviously, and the capabilities that it had.
What is it that he said? Be water?
Yes. And that means to be fluid, be willing to, what do you say? Water can crash or flow. You gotta be willing
Ebb
to.
and flow.
And there's waves, there's calmness. And like you said, you can put water into a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water into a teapot, it becomes a teapot. That means you have to be what?
Water.
But what does that mean? When water becomes the pot or the cup, what is it doing?
It becomes one with it.
Yes. It adapts and becomes one with the environment or that thing that it's adapting to. Yes. And that's what we must do. So if this body is like a vehicle, a car, and I'm operating this vehicle, and I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not the spirit, yet I'm controlling these things, then I should master what these things I'm controlling. Right?
Right.
So I should master my body, master my spirit, master myself. I want to master myself. And as much as I know myself, I know everything, because everything outside of myself is also within myself. That's the only reason why I can see it, because it's in me. That's my mission, to inspire people to know who they are and their capabilities and be the greatest version of themselves. And the only way you can do that is by knowing yourself.
I think that's a hard question to answer. You know, they ask you, who are you? Right? How do you really answer that without mentioning what you do? Or
That's a great question, because everyone would say their name or what they do for a living. That's who they are.
Yeah.
That's not who you are. That's what you do.
Right.
So who I am, when someone thinks that what you should do, what we all should do, is ask that question to yourself sometime when you're alone. Say, who am I? And go through all the different various answers you can give yourself, right? However long that takes, however many questions you want to write down or throw out. And then ask yourself, who am I who's asking the question? Who am I? So it's like you go into a door asking who lives here. And then you can just guess how many people live here. It could be this person, that person, that person. And then what happens when the person opens the door and say, who's the one asking? Who wants to know? Who are you? Who's asking? So ask yourself now, who is the one asking? Who am I to ask who am I? Who is the person that's asking that question now? Who am I? Now, who is the one asking that question?
Can you answer that?
That's a reflective question that people should just think about for a while.
Okay.
It may not have an answer, and the answer may come in a way that only I can't force a flower to blossom. You get what I'm saying? So I can give that question for people to contemplate. When people say, who am I? Well, who's the one asking? Who am I to ask who am I? Who is the one asking the question? Who is that? Can you answer that question?
I don't think I can.
Where's this voice coming from? How am I moving this body and saying the things like who is the I? When I say I, how am I moving this body? Who am I? Who is I?
Okay. All right. Who am I? Listen. I left the link up, like I said, at the very bottom of the description box of this video and on this stream. But we do have someone who wants to give their 2 cents. So I'm going to let her come through. I'm going to add you to the stream. All right. So.
Oh, pardon ça.
Oh.
Hey, Jess.
Hey.
Comment est?
Oh, muy bien. Saca fe.
On est comme ça, comme ça la vie aille.
Okay. I love it. All right. So, are you for or against Kevin Samuels, and why?
Well, I obviously come from a Caribbean background, and I grew up in a no-nonsense type of situation to where my dad did not play, you need to make sure you are a person that's doing something in life. Regardless of what that is, it's something, and, they want to make sure that you don't go through life and having to go through all kind of battles and all this other obstacles. They do their best that they can. So with that being said, hearing him and having a lot of these young women that are calling up there, a lot of them are so lost in life. And it's like, I'm confused. How did you get so lost like this? And one thing I respect about you is that you know what you need to work on. There's no reason for you to be calling some random person on the internet. And that's where there's two-sided with this. I'm confused as to why y'all calling this man, and y'all know that this is what he, how he reacts. And also, I'm not surprised because I come from a Caribbean background. Kevin can't hurt my feelings. Okay, you want to talk about hurt feelings? Talk to one of these Caribbean parents and tell them that you're gonna be talking about you selling something and you smoking something and you on the street corner doing nothing. I want you to tell them that.
Fact.
Hurt feelings, please. But just overall, like, it is the internet. People, I think it's very interesting as well. Obviously, we are within a generation of social media. We find these trend-setting words, we find these trend-setting type of things, and we get so attached to it to where whomever makes a certain type of money, all of a sudden everybody's now a high-value man. You remember back in the days, everybody was a CEO.
Okay.
Everybody was a this and a that. We just seem to use terms and attach ourselves, and it's like, well, I'm 100. I make 6 figures. I make 7 figures. I've never met so many millionaires until I got onto the social media situation. It's like, oh, okay. But in reality, it's just like we mask all this extra stuff and still have not been able to have successful relationships. Whatever that looks like in relationship with your parents, relationship with your friends, and then you turn that around relationship with men. It is just like everyone's on the attack and no one's coming to the table in good faith. I just think that his way of having a conversation is open. It's different. We've been fed Mr. Jackson with his foolishness and Steve Harvey. So it seems that we've been loving the lies, and you just have someone that says, well, I'm not going to tell you that your stuff doesn't stink. You are on the pot, you're sitting on the toilet. It's time to get real. And whatever that is, if it's something that it helps you, use it. If it doesn't, leave it and move forward.
Ashe, ashe. So what do you think can help the Black community come together? How can Black women and Black men respect one another, be agreeable to one another? Like, what is the answer?
Bon, Jasmine, Miss Sakpase, if you don't respect your own self, meaning I do not know you, but just on a basic human being level, if I don't see value within you, how am I gonna see value within myself? I'm a Black woman. So if I turn around and say, oh, well, Jasmine is bottom of the barrel and this man is bottom of the barrel and that's a reflection of me. So this Black man, yes, this person might have done foolishness, but I'm not going to then paint around all my Black men to say that they're all of this. No, you've had a negative altercation with that person, and that person was an idiot, regardless of whatever they were, Spanish, white, Black, whatever. But as far as this, it just seems like in the household, if we're not being brought up to respect one another, there's no community conversation in a large, grander scale of things that, again, on social media can be anything, and yet we choose to be disrespectful to one another. So if you do walk into a subway or walk wherever, plenty of men, they open up the door for you. Thank you, sis. You all right, sis? I've never had a negative thing with Black men in person. I don't know what the social media thing does, but in person, I've never had a negative reaction with the Black man. So it's just, guys, we just got to wake up.
Ashe. Live it.
Hey, but Jazz, when we literally have the internet at our fingertips, we know what has held us down. We know who's oppressed us. We know this. We know foods. We know that we had the whole natural movement, just so that everybody understands you're just beautiful in whatever being that is, and be okay with whatever you show up with. And yet we still turn around and be talking to each other crazy like this.
Yeah, we have all the answers at our fingertips. We know what we need to do. Why aren't we doing the work? Why aren't we doing the work? Therapy. Like, I cannot stress the importance of therapy. Listen, Black people, look, even though we may not have been through slavery and stuff, we're still going through stuff. There's still PTSD out here. We've lived experiences that, Lord, I don't even know what. I mean, luckily for me, I didn't have like really crazy experiences growing up, but I still needed therapy, and I'm still in therapy. And it's done so much good for me. And if you could take away one thing from this live, therapy is the key. Therapy is the key, and finding the right therapist, of course, is
honey.
But listen, therapy. is it.
Oh, you definitely hit something there. That's something interesting. But I think also what kind of not kind of what does really concern me. Some of us sign up to be a part of the turmoil, and by that I mean like you get this movement of the Amber Rose with the slut walk, and you get this thing of all of us are now like, oh, we're so disassociated. I'm just like a man. I can have whatever man in my bedroom 24 hours a day. I don't need this, and I don't. We've literally, it's like where's the toxic? Where's the I want to like literally beat myself up? Can I sign up for that? And not realizing that, yeah, I can go to therapy afterwards, but you have to remember you've already gone through this physical barrier breaking of yourself that you volunteered. It's not one of those horrible situations where unfortunately people do take advantage of people. But some of us, we're just sending these crazy messages like, oh, I don't need a man. I could do whatever he does. And I could, okay, well, sis, do you really want to go through this mental turmoil by yourself?
Right.
Amber Rose not gonna be sitting there with you talking about the S walk. Amber Rose don't care about you. So let's have basic conversation. Go on some dates. There's some great gentlemen out here. They will, take you to some really cool places. No one's saying you gotta be, bent over or nothing like that. There are some real solid people out there. Just being able to understand that your self-worth and self-value over it, obviously don't overinflate yourself. Some of us, it's like a whole nother world that we live in, the delusions. But understand that you are more than worthy of anything. That is why God has placed us here. We have been ordained. We've been given breath to be able to go through another day. And just overall, like one thing I just really love about your brand. I remember you back then in the purple room with the locks. And it was always a self-evolving of regardless of what happens in life. There's always a self grad school, going off to do this or buying this and family and this. It's always a movement of forwardness. And with that movement of forwardness, it's like, why am I harboring whatever negative? You just got to move forward from there, because you're just going to find yourself in a slump of sadness, a slump of depression, and a slump of incompletion. And as Black women, we've been through so much, sis. It's way better on the other side. You got to let go of this anger. You got to let go of this hate.
Let go, Ashe.
You
And
got to let go of it.
to the point where you mentioned my many different evolutions.
Hey, that's all of us.
I always like think to myself, well, you know what? If you're not evolving, you're not growing, and if you're not growing, you're basically dead. So listen, we gotta grow. We gotta grow from all of the trauma and all of that. We gotta rise up. We gotta do better. We gotta be better. Thank you.
Really and truly, just if I could just say anything, if you do find that this person's message is not helping you to get wherever you need to get at, or you found that Steve Harvey or the Jackson, whomever has been feeding you whatever, if the fairy tale feels way more comfortable for you to be in that fairy tale and the lies, stay there, sis. But if you have not gotten the results that you're looking for, and you might want to take a little sip of truth, take a little sip. I'm not saying you sit there for 3 hours and the banter and that and forth. You sit there for a little bit of the truth, 1 day, 2 days, 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, and find some things that make it, again, like you had said earlier about the fit. The fit thing doesn't mean you're a size 0 or size 1 or 2. Nobody's asking you to do all that.
Right.
Do a little bit of running. The running doesn't just help you physically to look good, but it does allow your endorphins to let go of some of the stresses that's throughout the day. The yoga, the stretching. All of that just allows you to empower yourself. You feel so much better than you're just sitting there with your buns and your KFC loathing and self-pityness. So just a little piece of the truth. If you can't take it, sis, okay, stay in the lies with Derek Jackson and them. Good luck with that.
Goodness. I love it. I love it all. You brought up some really amazing points. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Could you like stay put?
Yeah.
So let me we got someone else in the chat who wants to do the chat. Let me just see here. It's going good so far. All right, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this live. This is interesting. All right, let's see. Sade, I sent you a private chat if you could. Okay. So we got someone who is against Kevin Samuels here. I'm interested. So I'm gonna oh my voice cracked. I'm gonna bring on Sade. Sade, right? Rubies. And yeah, we'll have a talk. Hey
Hi,
girl.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I was just getting ready for work, so that's why the first time I came up, I didn't have my camera on.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Thank you for coming through on the live today. So, are you for or against Kevin Samuels and why?
So I'm against Kevin Samuels, and I'm going to tell you why. And it might not be for the reasons that you think. I'm against the brand of Kevin Samuels and what he has come to be. Now, I've watched a few of his live streams and he has some great points, some things that I definitely agree with when it comes to cleaning up the act and getting ourselves together as individuals and on a collective level. But my problem is how Kevin Samuels or KS or Kitten Heels or whatever you want to call him, how he came to be, and the fact that he's growing so large when he started addressing the women. And that's what I have a problem with because, I know the guys always refer to his older live streams when he was talking strictly to the men. And, they talk about how he definitely was coming at them as well. But he wasn't growing exponentially until he started these live streams with the women, and particularly when the average at best women, I believe, because she's from North Carolina, where I'm currently at, and so after that went viral, things really started to take off. And so I see that a lot of his like supporters, followers, they're very keen on him going after women in a sense that, women walk away or hang up feeling maybe destroyed, a little hurt by his words and things like that. But like I said, he did have some very basic things. I don't think that you necessarily have to call a man sitting in a room with a spinning thing on his table for them to tell you, like, hey, you might want to drop the weight, or okay, you might have to be a bit kinder in your interactions. So I think these are very basic things. So to put yourself in a position to call somebody that's sitting in a room to do that, I think, like the other lady said before, we do contribute to our own turmoil in a sense that what the man's about, what the premise of his show is, you kind of know how he's going to eventually address you. Why even do that? So like I said, I don't necessarily, I'm against the brand and what the brand is and what people, I think the reasons people are following. And what's so funny is I was on another panel and I noticed that there is like a level of implosion that's happening within like that whole Kevin Samuels manosphere, all these type of pills, red, black, purple, whatever. There is sort of a level of implosion. You have the guys now arguing with each other. You have other guys now saying like, hey, I noticed like you have like some weirdos in your chat, Kevin Samuels, that get off on like the screaming portion of your show or whatever the case may be. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just interesting to see that what started off maybe in good faith, some of the most negative aspects of it is what really took off and now has this man almost at 1 million views. So like I said, I'm against the brand. I'm not against everything single thing he says. And I also want to address the fact that he talked about attractiveness, because somebody mentioned that in your chat. I can't see like the regular chat while I'm here, but somebody mentioned in the chat that he talked about, and I did see that too, where he said like, black women, and I guess the phenotype of a black woman is scientifically deemed unattractive. Like on a level of attractiveness, we're deemed at the bottom. And that kind of gave me like white supremacy talking points, talking vibes, because that's what we've always been told, and we've always, been, for the most part, I think things have changed within the last decade. Not think, they have definitely changed within the last decade. But we've always moved based on a white beauty standard. So the straighter your hair, the narrower your nose, things like that. That was deemed what's attractive, and so he was kind of measuring black women based on, is what he said. He said scientifically, and I'm like, But who's the scientist and who's the one putting these things out for you to, for you to agree with whoever the scientist saying that Black women phenotypically are like our facial features are not always symmetrical and things like that. And so I thought that was kind of shaky because I'm like, that's not one of the points that I actually could get with or agree with. But that's all I had to say because I'm rambling.
Jasmine, you're on mute.
Still getting used to this. All right, okay, all right. So, the nursing nerd, do you have anything to say to that, or?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, young lady. You are gorgeous, respect and
Thank you.
everything. You definitely, if you could watch that whole clip, actually he was on the opposite end and was saying that we phenotypically do have, it's an article that came out where they were going saying either Heidi Klum or Beyonce or something like that, the
Mhm.
symmetrics of the high cheekbones, the eyebrows, this, that, and third. There's like a number that they actually align to say, okay, who's the most more deemed attractive? And actually Black women, we had more of those phenotypical type of things that align with the number system or whatever. But sometimes with that, I, you got to go and look up stats and look up numbers and look up all this other extra stuff where it's like, well, I'm not doing all that. You got plenty of men that will walk around and be like, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, they'll pick you up. I'm not going to go look up Heidi Klum statistics or what her eyebrow to her eye ratio is. I don't care. But when you do turn around, and I definitely do understand, I 1000%. I understand what you meant about the branding situation, but there's also too, if you want to look at other people that have fed us these, fairy tales and stuff, they fed us and they've pandered to us. You have someone like a guy that's a doctor, someone. He's fed us all type of lies. Meanwhile, he's had all kind of single mothers within our community. Meanwhile, he's feeding us shea butter baby, cocoa butter, and all this beautifulness. And meanwhile, what has he done within the community? And yes, you are telling the truth. There are some people that it's like this weird high school thing where I'm going to now cheer on that person. And I'm going to also, all of us, we have the same name. Oh, yeah, go and attack her. It's like, yo, calm down. You're a grown man. And just like Jasmine had said in the beginning, he used to go talk to the men very harshly because he expected them to, you need to come correct and have something about yourself. But again, I'm very much on, listen, do what is best for your mental health. If that person doesn't help push you forward, let it go and keep it moving. And if you find that there's any idiot guy that comes after you and like, oh, well, you're a 1 and you're a 6 and that one's a 10, sir, get out of my face and hang up the phone and talk to someone else. One thing we will not do is be berated, but also be understanding that you can just be the best version of yourself. I cannot come up here and look like Heidi Klum. That is a Caucasian lady. Ain't nothing I could do with my blonde hair and the extraness. I can come up looking like an African American woman, and whatever that deems to be, and whoever finds a value in that, that's who I'm gonna go with.
Definitely. I so agree with that. And even the point that you made about the doctor such and such and the Derek Jacksons and whomever else. And it's why I never really subscribed to that because I feel like it's two sides of the same coin. So one's on the one end of the spectrum, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got on the other end of the spectrum. And I've always been leery of someone that always talks in absolutes. And so that's what, like, Derek Jackson and Steve Harvey, they give you like the you're always right, woman, and he's always wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and he always needs to, that. I've always ran away from that because it definitely sends like signals off in my mind like, oh, you're really trying to solidify the Black woman's trust in whatever it is you're trying to market, and this is what you need to do in order to get that trust. You need to tell them that they're always right, they're always in the right state of mind, they always look good, and that's just not the truth. To my other point at the beginning, I did say that even with like Kevin Samuels and other people that co-signed to him, I do genuinely feel like the goalpost is always moving for Black women in particular. I'm trying so hard not to come from like a victim mindset or anything like that, because in my own head it can even sound like that. But like I said, even when you have like the Yous or the Jasmines of the world, and I hate to put it like that because I don't like to pit women against each other, but those that are fit and feminine and friendly, as they say, you know, these are the type of women that are still marginalized and stereotyped and lumped in all together. And it's just like now you have a good chunk of men running around, you know, trying to, in their minds or even verbally trying to rate women or even tell Black women, you're going to die alone because such and such. It doesn't matter. And it seems like no matter what you do, so if you're not on the side of having children out of wedlock and whatever else the case may be, you may be on the other side, like you furthering your education, all these other things. You might drive a decent car, nice car, whatever you want to call it. Then that's too masculine of a pursuit, and it's like the goalpost is ever moving. I don't understand. So,
Jasmine, if I may answer.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just a moderator.
Well, one point I'd love to, like you just said about the goalpost. Again, when you are knowing who you are and where you stand in life, when actually watching him, I went back and I saw some videos of Oprah Winfrey and the Ricky Lake show, and there was a couple of other Black women that had really popular shows back in the 80s and the 90s. And I promise you you could find the stuff on YouTube. All you got to do is put lace fronts on those women's heads on the panels and do BBLs. You think that you in 2021. The conversation has not moved past. They don't want us because we so educated. They don't want us because we got all this money. That it's like, whoa, this is so creepy. Time has not changed, and we are like decades apart. This is weird. But as far as the fit and feminine thing, that's also even there's the young ladies that are pushing the femininity type of thing. I step away from that because I can't change my voice to go higher. So you could say that, oh, she's a feminine girl and I raise my tone and then I'm wearing certain type of clothing to act like I'm just that. It's like, girl, you putting lipstick on a pig. Don't nobody want to see that. Just
yes,
to be
yes, absolutely.
honestly, it's just the best version of yourself. And just again, having Jasmine as being a great example. Again, Jasmine, we're not saying you're like the most perfect, but again, it's just having her. Jasmine, you see her today, she's wearing her hair up. Tomorrow she combs out the locks. The next day she has on locks. The next day she's doing photo editing stuff. The next moment she's buying a studio. It's again Jasmine, whatever she deems to be the yoga, the food person, that does not make it to where a man would then feel like, oh well, Jasmine is she's too high for me. Because again, I don't know her, but based off of what we see on social media, I don't see Jasmine, shaking her neck and, oh, you beneath me and I got this and you got that and what you bringing to the table. Sometimes it could be a little aggressive. So all you do is just sit back and you're like, yo, my life is moving forward, regardless of what. I'm good. That person, he sees you, and most of them see where you live at and what you're doing. It's not even a bragging thing. They're like, oh, okay. So I know she's not like, I can't go over on her. And you don't have to do all this yelling and neck rolling. They just see who they see around you. They know how to step to you. And believe me, plenty of Black men out here, they see that you're not out here doing foolishness. They will 1000% respect. You don't have to beg for respect. You don't have to do all this other extra stuff. They will provide you whatever they see that you already have.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. I've got to run to work. This was excellent. I hope to do this again. You ladies have a blessed night. I enjoyed it. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for your input. Loved it. All right.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thanks.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. See, that was nice. That was a nice and healthy dialogue. I got to listen to two different points of view, and it was great. I'm actually going to do a second intermission because your girl just drank a lot of water. So if you want to get on the chat, if you want to share your opinion, let me know. Again, the link to the stream will be found at the very bottom of the description box of this video. I will also link it in the live chat. So let's get it.
Yo, when I was little, some of my earliest dreams, right, were of an eyeball in the sky.
Okay.
A singular eyeball, right? And it would freak me the fuck out. This is before puberty. Like, I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? And it would freak me out. And the reason why it would freak me out is because it would just look at me. And I couldn't determine its purpose. I couldn't determine an emotion behind it. I couldn't determine any like fully human characteristics beyond it. It was just looking. It wasn't laughing. It wasn't crying. It wasn't trying to scare me. It wasn't moving on fast or nothing. It was just looking. And me being so young, I would just be like, what the and why? Like, I couldn't fathom the purpose beyond a singular eye. I'm like, it's not connected to a brain. Like, what is it? What does it want? What does it want? Like, what is it doing? It's just looking at me. Why? Mm-hmm. And I had that recurring dream for a while, and now as an adult, I think I understand a lot better now. Because I am I. That's the one asking the question.
I am I.
I mean, I am that I that was in the sky in my dream. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm the one looking inside myself for an answer, and I'm just looking. You know, but we all are I. I and the I and I. I just say in Jamaica, I and I. That means, you know, you and I are one. You know, I see myself in you. The I and I. You ever heard that term?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of rosters say that. Yes, Saya, I and I. Like, you know what I mean? They're saying, you know, respect. It's almost like when they say namaste. When someone says namaste, that means, you know, the God in me sees the God in you.
What I did hear was Irie, but I don't know if...
Irie? Like, they feeling good. Irie means, you know, everything's good. Everything's Irie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got an Irie little place here. And if I say you got an Irie little place here, it's you got a nice little place here. Yeah. But life is amazing, man. I'm grateful just to be able to have these conversations. Like, who the fuck am I? Really? Who am I? Everyone should keep asking themselves that every second of the day. Who the fuck am I? Where the fuck I come from? I don't even remember my birth. I just know what people tell me. Must be a legend, because I don't even know. They telling me about myself. You were born this day at this time? What really? I don't know how I got here. I'm glad you guys paying attention, though. But when you were a child, you are treated like people have to protect you and honor you and love you and give you the most attention, and everything is at your beckoning will. Right? Mm-hmm. Dang, that's real. So yeah, know thyself. That's the only thing that's important. Instead of knowing what everyone else is doing, know yourself. Or if you are going to study other people, find yourself in those people, because we are all the same. Everyone that you see or come across is a different aspect of yourself. And when you disagree or agree with those aspects of yourself, is the parts of yourself that you disagree or agree with. Simple as that. When you see someone that you like, it's because you like parts of that in yourself, or you may lack parts of that in yourself that you want more of. And if you disagree with someone, it's because you don't want none of that in your life. Or those are parts of yourself that you just don't like. That's it. Because everyone is the same. So if you don't like a murderer, it's because you know that you have the possibility to murder, and you don't want to do that. So you don't like that choice. So you're like, I'm going to stay away from that. That is disagreeable to my life. That's what that means. It's not really a good or bad thing. That may sound crazy to some people, but it's not really a good or bad thing. It's a choice thing. And everyone's the main character in their life. And they have consequences for their choices and actions. And they have to deal with those things however they can and however they will.
I'm still trying to get the hang of this, honestly. But look, we back. We back. You guys are going in the comment section. I can't even like process it all. I sent a StreamYard link to any folks who wanted to get on the chat and like share their opinions. I'm sending out the link again. But I just wanted to say that as a Black woman, I love Black men and I respect Black men. I try to go out into the world where, you know, I try to treat those the way I wish to be treated. I don't get the comments of, oh, you should smile, because I'm at this stage where I guess it's already on my face. I don't know if that makes any sense, but at the end of the day, I love Black men. I want to be with a Black man. And if I want to be with a Black man, then, you know, we gotta be on the same page, right? That's all I gotta say about that. I don't really have much else to say about that. It doesn't seem like any of you want to come onto this live. Oh, we got somebody. Wait. Hola. Let me just Angie, I wrote you in the private chat. If you could just like let me know what's good. And then we could get on with it, you know? Let me know if you're for or against. I can't hear you. You're gonna have to type it in the private chat. Any man want to come on to this chat and talk your piece? I left the link again. All right, so, okay, so we're gonna bring Angie on. All right, we're gonna have a healthy discussion. All right, let's go. Oh, she says 1 minute. I can see you. All right. Okay, and we're back.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
You know, it's so funny that you're doing a video on Kevin Samuels, because I just did one on Kevin Samuels, and you know, I did a video on alpha and beta females, and I've been talking about alpha and beta personalities, right? So I actually chimed into his podcast last night, and I thought it was really interesting because I was very curious about his take on the alpha female personality, and I feel like he delivered it.
Excuse me. Sorry, is there something on in your background? I could hear it.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Cool.
So I just did a video on YouTube about alpha beta person. I've done one like probably a couple of weeks ago, and I did it with my friend Brittany, and we were talking about those personalities in the workplace. And I chimed into Kevin Samuels' podcast last night because he was talking about alpha females. I identify myself as an alpha female, so I was very curious about what he had to say about us. All right. I work in the financial sector. I don't consider myself one of those females that, you know, I don't have the mindset that I don't need a man. As an individual that has been in relationships and experience where I've gone wrong and where men have gone wrong and where I have identified the wrong man, I personally feel like, you know, his assessment of alpha personality female was just completely off. And I think it was malignant. And I think that a lot of his commentary towards women are malignant. And as you stated earlier, he built his following off of telling a woman that her valuation of herself was not to the standard of what he thought Black women or women of her appearance should be. You know what I mean? I was looking at a podcast earlier, and I feel like this is an indication of Black men who really hate the womb that they came from. There are a lot of Black men who are disdained by Black women for a variety of different reasons. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with the fact that they can't be subservient, and everything to do with the fact that these Black men just aren't leaders that Black women can trust. And I think that these men need to start being realistic about the fact that Black women don't have a whole lot of options for leaders. And so they have to make an executive decision for their own survival. How do I survive? I have to acquire a skill. I have to be great at something, and I need to be able to compete in whatever capital system that I'm involved in. And I think what this man does, because I've seen him talk and psychoanalyze so many different types of Black women. And I'm like, you are demeaning this woman because she's able to compete in the capital system that you could not. And I think that's the bottom line with Kevin Samuels. He is a beta male personality that cannot compete with an alpha female personality, because as Judge Joe Brown said on Kwame Brown's podcast, there are beta boys in this world, right? You got the beta boys who are the white boys that can't compete in the white man's world, and they're the ones trying to convince white men that they are racist. And then you have the beta Black boys who can't compete in the white man's world, and they are jealous of Black women that can. And I think we need to start talking about them more. And that's all I have to contribute. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I actually have a question.
Yes.
Because I didn't really watch that Kevin Samuels video talking about the alpha females and stuff, but can you explain or what your definition is of an alpha female and a beta female?
Sure. Okay, so the alpha, so there's several different, they're personality types. That's all they are. You know what I mean? They're personality types. You have the alpha, you have the beta, you have the sigma, you have the omega, right? The alpha personality is usually your corporate type of woman, right? She's the leadership type of woman. The beta personality is usually your HR executive, because they tend to be empaths, right? Your sigma personalities are the people that Kevin Samuels typically talks about all the time, which is your high value people who evaluate themselves based off of net worth and superficial ideas. Those are sigmas. Omegas are individuals who they don't want to compete in any type of standard. They are anti-conformists, right? So when you talk about these personalities, each one of these personalities have their own spectrums, and you can go to any psychological journal to validate this. You know what I mean? But what he did was paint one spectrum of the alpha female as negative, as this masculine person that can't take the leadership of men. That's basically what he painted us as. And what really got me with Kevin Samuels is that podcast was literally like a response to a podcast that I did with a friend of mine talking about alpha and beta female personalities in the workplace. And it wasn't a negative scope of those personalities. It was just talking about how those personalities interact in the workplace. And because alpha and beta are the dominant personalities in society, you know, I focus on those in my podcast, right? But I felt like this dude drew inspiration from my podcast and pretty much skewed my ideas to fit his woman hating ideas, because I don't feel like a person like Kevin Samuels really have this reverence for women. I don't think he revere women. You know what I mean? I feel like men that cater to Kevin Samuels' rhetoric are beta Black men, like I said, who can't compete in a white man's world, and they are jealous of Black women that can. And so they love a man like Kevin Samuels, who can bash Black women, bring them down to a lower frequency, because they have achieved aspects of their personal actualization that he was not able to. This dude talks about his corporate experience. It's like, okay, I work in the financial sector. I am a licensed individual. Okay. That doesn't validate who I am. I work with the people that he talks about. I talk to the people that he talks about. And let me tell you something. My following is not on LinkedIn. That's why people like Kevin Samuels can steal on my content all damn day, because I don't have the following like he does. But on LinkedIn, it's a different story. And Kevin Samuels does not have a following. He talks about high valuation people, and you don't even have a huge following on LinkedIn. The professional space, where it matters, where the clientele matters. And you're going to tell a Black woman who is sure about herself, who has confidence, who has built her own legacy without a Black man, because she got tired of waiting for a Black man to come along that was an appropriate leader. Because a lot of these Black men are not good leaders. They want us to inherit their problems and build them. I'm sorry, I'm not your mom. Okay, I have 3 freaking kids of my own. They're doing very well. And they have their dad in their life. And I would not expect for my son to be some woman's son. Okay? I expect for my son to actualize himself, meaning acquire a skill and a capability that not only allows you to support yourself, compete in the capital markets, but eventually set up a legacy where you can actually support a woman and children. That's what I'm teaching my son. I'm not teaching him superficial ideas about high net worth and high valuation without adding the character to it. That's what Kevin Samuels is validating some of these beta Black men right now, for real. These beta Black men cannot compete in a capital system. And they are trying to demean and lower the frequency of Black women that can. And it's disgusting. And I'm tired of Black people getting paid to demean our community. I don't care if you're a race peddler or a so-called relationship guru that was divorced 2 damn times. And these Black Negroes are listening to this man give them a relationships advice, and he failed twice at leading a Black woman. Fuck out of here with that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
We're keeping it classy. We're keeping it clean.
My bad. Sorry. But I'm saying, get out of here with that. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm tired of Black people profiting off of either the ignorance, the low self-esteem of our people. Because that's what people like him do. They sprinkle in upbuilding rhetoric with this defiling, malignant rhetoric. And let me tell you something. I know a lot of Black conservative African American men. They believe in the structure of the family. They believe in the order of the family. And these are men who are unfortunately married because the good women understood to snatch them up real quick. All right. They are married, but they are friends of mine, and I know their wives, and they are very respectful. Right. These men know leadership. These are alpha men. Okay. They have made it in the capital system. They live by what we call the Black American blueprint. You got God in your life, right? When you got God in your life and your relationship, you're not talking about what Kevin Samuel's talking about. And that's what Black people need to be understanding. You need to put the Lord back in the equation. Then all this crazy stuff, that high valuation, your valuation is based off of what the Lord say you are and how you can actualize yourself by including the Lord in what you do. Period. And that's all I got to contribute.
Oh, okay. Well, we got someone, we got a returning commentator here. She wants to chime in. Take it away.
Hi, Miss Angie Card. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. One thing I'd like to ask what you had just stated about where there's a couple of things you stated. One thing that you stated, the gentlemen that make whatever living that they make, a good living, and they're making sure that they're providing for the family and all that good stuff, as should. You stated that they're already married.
They are married.
Exactly. So now, with that being said, when you see a lot of the young women that come on to Kevin's show, they have never been married. They're looking to get married. Their age ranges from 19 to 23 to 40 something to 50 something. They've never been married. So just off of that, were you saying that, hey, these gentlemen already know, regardless of what financial structure they fall into, they are already leading their households. They're financially making sure that the family is good. They're already married and already taken off the market. So now with us, a lot of times, again, what I was saying about the back in the days, Oprahs and stuff, we, for some weird reason, think that, okay, these guys that we have access to, they're going to be around decades. So I could be in my 20s having my hot girl summer. I'll come and see y'all when I'm 35 and I'll be ready to get married, and not realizing that those good set of brothers, not the extra foolishness, but those solid men, they've already been taken off the market because other women saw that, hey, he actually wants something. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Let's get married and go. And I think just outside looking in, what I'm seeing is, especially hearing these young ladies, it's like they're thinking these men are going to fly in from a helicopter, coming to take them to Rome, having dinner overnight, then taking a camel in Dubai and flying them back to, Miami. And it's like, well, now we're dating. It's like, ma'am, this is not how none of this works. So to one fact where you were saying I wasn't there for the alpha and the beta situation because I'm just a human being. I don't know titles. But when it does come time, just the basic of it, a lot of these women want to be married. They want to be wives. And if they already thinking about the Megan and like Jasmine was talking about the music and stuff, Cardi B's, if this is what these women are looking up to, they're thinking that these men are going to be flying them 5-star private with Bentleys overnights and all of this foolishness. And then on top of that, you have other people that have pandered within our community that have said, well, sis, you are this and you are exalted and you this and that third. You're thinking that your queendom can always be there at any moment in time. Next thing you know, decades have passed. You're still sitting there single because you're chasing behind a dream that never existed.
Absolutely.
And
Here's the thing. I think a lot of that stuff is by design. Especially in the US, we have seen over the years the degradation of the Black community, right? The Black family specifically, whether it's related to crime or bad policies. But a lot of that have to do with the music, and I echo that concern for the Black community that our music is subverting our people into believing I would say ways of life that is not fruitful to, I would say, long-term happiness. And I talked about this not too long ago. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. I respect any Black woman that can use their talents and capabilities to make money. What I don't like is the fact that the hip hop industry, the music industry, will only promote Black female rappers that talk about violating their temples. And I think that is, one of the things that Black people need to take control of. And I can only speak for Black people in America, but we do not own our narrative. The corporate space owns our narrative. The corporate space owns our standard of Blackness. Whether we think we do or not, they tell us what is the standard for being Black. And so what they're trying, like when you look at your average female rapper, it's a shame that we can't get a Roxanne Shante that don't have to shake her ass, but the lyrical content is on my bad. But the lyrical content is on point. It's a shame that we can't have an MC Light still have some straight lyrical content, a dope female, but at the same time, her still be mainstream. That's not what they want of the Black narrative. They are trying to create an image of the Black female that is whorish. We're harlots. You know what I mean? And until we stop letting them tell us, what our level of sexuality is, what our level of sexual appeal is, we have to take a stand for those narratives. Right now, Black people are not owning our narrative. And that's why we have mainstream Blacks that are degrading the Black image. They are making Black females look like whores. They're making Black males look like violent criminals that kill each other.
Angie, one other point too, I also like to talk about what you had discussed about the high value men and men of certain type, like you were saying about where you worked in finance and stuff like that. There's also the aspect of listening to, like I said about the whole flying from Dubai and the helicopter and all that. I wasn't saying that just to be funny. I'm serious. When you hear these young women time and time again, and grown women will call in and have these grandiose expectation, and then it's like, well, there is a level, there is competition. Even I'm married. I understand that there's competition. That my husband, I got to make sure that I'm competitive and making sure that I'm the best version of myself. I don't just get married and all of a sudden I'm wearing a big old t-shirt with stains and burn marks talking about, oh, baby, you want some of this loving? No, that's nasty. You get yourself together. Go buy some lingerie. Go get yourself together. Put it together. But when you have this type of self idea of, you really want to know, ma'am, are you living in the real world outside of the hip hop stuff and all of that? Now we even have this access to social media. It's no longer just on the TV. It's now on YouTube, where you can see a Jasmine, where you can see other women that look a different type of way. But when it does come time to the finance and there's the competition portion, we then want to turn it off. I don't want to compete, meaning the girl that looks opposite of what I look like. And I understand that I may not get the same guys that she gets, but why am I concerned about the guys that she gets? I don't care about him. I want the man that wants me. And then also with that, when it does come down time to finances and stuff, yes, you do expect a certain type of level of things to live up to. But most of these women are calling in, they want millionaires overnight. When you are looking into the statistics of where our finances lie, I think it's like 7% or 20% are making a certain type of amount, and it gets even less than that, then da da da. So it's like we want all of this stuff, and it's like, where are you getting it from? It doesn't exist. And even if you do have the high value thing, that is just those people. Why are you begging to get into a club that you can't get into?
But here's the thing. I don't believe in, so I believe, like, I feel like critical theories are the detriment of Black America. And it has been for a long time. I don't know where everybody is from, but I'm from Detroit. And I feel like critical theories in this country, at least, has inhibited Black individuals from self-actualizing. And when you're not a self-actualized individual, you can be swayed and influenced all kinds of ways that do not, that takes you away from actualizing, right? I think what's happening in Black America is, and I'm almost 40. All right. So I didn't grow up with social media. I actually remember a time when social media did not exist. And so I remember a time where we had to have face-to-face human interaction, and we had to face our differences, and we had to reconcile things. I feel like I remember a different America than we have today. And, I feel like the result of the societal influences over time with social media, it really has inhibited individuals from being able to critically think about things.
And to critically think, you have grown women that are calling this man show, that's asking him how to be a woman, asking him how to be a wife. These are the things that your home, your mom and your father was supposed to train you and know what to do. Why
But
are
a
you
lot of
calling
Blacks
random
aren't living
strangers?
by the Black blueprint of success. And I posted this. I actually created a model for it so that people understood what it meant. The Black blueprint from success is all surrounded by structured Black families. It's not centered around divided Black homes at all. The Black
Angie,
blueprint for success in America is you have two parents in a household. You have religious structure. You have examples of individuals that work hard so that the children can see that. you create educational opportunities, right? So that you can help your children understand the foundations of actualizing themselves as they learn new things. And as they go about expanding their knowledge, they become more and more actualized in that sort of Maslowian hierarchy of needs.
But
You know what I
Angie,
mean?
80% of the
Maslow,
children.
here's the thing. Black people don't learn about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
No, but Angie, right now, I understand that, but that's on a larger scale. Right now, we have 80% of children that are being born without not being married. So they're already having separation. They don't know where the dad is at. The people are talking down about the dad. He's a dusty. He's trash. And then when
We
you
need
have
to
all
talk
that,
about the statistics more, though. You know, here's the thing that I have a problem with. Only a handful, less than a handful of at least Black Americans are talking about the real problems that are going on in the Black community. Only a handful of Black Americans are really combating the fact that our music is influencing it's a piper to our young people to do all kinds of things and think of themselves in all kinds of different ways. You know what I mean? Black America is not owning their narrative. And so this is why we have so many young Black women who are making poor decision. I call it generational poor decision making. And then you have people like Kevin Samuels, who is also really messed up generationally when you look at his background, and he's able to capitalize on these type of women because they're allowing him to.
All right. Larry has some thoughts. He wants to chime in on this. Larry,
I would say the Black community in America is not doing fine when we are.
I'm sorry. Okay, Larry, I had to. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Hello, how are y'all doing? I hope y'all all right.
Good.
First and foremost, I just want to say that I do understand. I've watched a couple of Kevin Samuels things. I don't agree with the fact that, his delivery is a little bit off, but I do, like I said in the chat, he does serve a marginalized community of men who feel that, the beauty and aesthetic standards for a man to be with a woman is kind of unreasonable, meaning that you need to have a 6-figure job. You need to have all these things aligned. You need to be able to take her, buy her Birkin bags, buy her all these things. Given hip hop or not, these are the things that you need to be. You have to compete with older men who are in a higher status from the jump. Like when you come in, just saying from high school on up, you come into you come in as a freshman, all the girls like seniors. You get out, then all the girls date older men in college, and then become older. Then you consistently are trying to compete with something that's older than you and more established than you. So when you see somebody saying, okay, well, get yourself together, or trying to get women to understand, like, okay, you can't just go out there and run and date any and everybody and think that it's not going to have some consequences. You can't have a 6-figure man and think that he's going to love you and do all these things that is all dreamy. There are some things you have to give up. And I feel like he's bringing that message, also telling men, like, okay, there are regular men out there that actually love, care, and will cherish you, though you won't be having the tea in Tibet, wherever you want it, but you still will be able to be loved. And it's more so about teaching, or kind of tempering some of the taste of women who want these exquisite things.
I think that Kevin Samuels talks to individual Black women who are not actualized, in my opinion. I believe I'm writing a book on self-actualization. Self-actualization is very difficult. It's very hard for a lot of individuals in society. And it really requires you going beyond any type of narrative about your gender or your race and actualizing yourself, limitlessly. And I look at it, anybody see the movie Last Dragon?
Yes. And I agree with you 110%. Self-actualization is key. So I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I was just, I was making that parable of, Leroy at the end, how he actualized and he got the glow.
Yes, but
you saw
the
that?
problem
That was a a cinema way of demonstrating self-actualization, where
Yes.
you take all your struggles, you take all the things that you know, you take all the things that you've been through, and you actualize yourself in a meaningful way to contribute to society. And like I said, there's certain things that Kevin Samuel say that I don't disagree with in terms of being a value to the market. You know what I mean? Thomas Sowell talks about the best way to combat any type of bigotry is to be an asset that people want, right?
But
These
okay,
individuals that want Birkin bags and they're buying into the hip hop culture of relationships, and they want this six-figure man because they have evaluated themselves way more than what they have actualized. I get what he's talking about. You got to bring them down to realistic planes, but you don't have to demean them. And I think that's what he do. You
but
know, you can bring somebody down to the right level. Like, look, baby girl, you are not an actualized person. And let me
I
break that down to you, what that means and why you are not worthy of a six-figure man, and why that six-figure man might leverage you for a time being. That is,
so
there's a constructive way to tell a woman that without taking her dignity away. And if
so
you look at a lot of Kevin Samuel's reviews of these women, his assessment of these women, to me, I'm like, he's taking their dignity.
so I want to contend that he's not necessarily taking their dignity. So it's his channel, it's his show, it's the way he's delivering his message. That's how he wants to deliver his message. So you cannot necessarily get mad at how he delivers his message. Additionally, these women are calling in of their own volition and having this dialogue with this gentleman, and he's providing the information in a manner that is sensationalized, because let's be honest, this has to be sold. This has to be catchy. It has to be controversial. It has to catch viewers. We don't hear about puppies being found in a storm drain on the news. What we hear about is people dying.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Angie,
Sorry.
your mic is muted. I just want to let you know. I just want Larry to finish. So, Larry, continue, sir.
So you don't necessarily hear about the good stories all the time because they're not sensationalized. No one turns on the news to be happy. They turn on the news to be fearful and to learn about things that they should be worried about or worry about. He's selling a product in an entertainment format by giving advice. I'm sorry that it may not come off as the best way, but in the same right, there are nuggets of truth in what he's saying. So the women who are not, when you were saying about sexual self-actualization, I totally 100% agree. My problem that I personally have is that people self-actualize and then they be like, oh, their glow is so bright that they are blinding themselves. And it's like, you still need to temper that. Even if you're aware of yourself, you need to have humble. It's cool you have to balance humbleness and pride. Have enough pride to believe in yourself, but understand that you're not better than anybody else. And the problem is that this narrative of, pretty girl this, pretty girl that, everyone to give you something, just go out there and be pretty. And then when you're pretty, everyone gives you stuff. Sadly, let's be honest, I have a social scale. Some people nobody's really personally ugly, but there's a social scale where we can say, okay, socially, most people will find you a 5 or 6 or 7, whatever. So socially, that person being a 5 or a 6 doesn't get the same treatment that a social person who is an 8 or a 9 or a 10 gets. So that person that's 8 or 9 or 10 may glow up later and want that. I mean, I'm sorry, there's somebody that's socially a 5 or 6 glow up later and want to be and get what that 10 has, and then now they're self-actualizing on a higher plane because they didn't glow it up and got 10 comments, and now they're loving themselves and feeling themselves way beyond what they are. And it's like, okay, let's calm it down. Do you understand what it really takes to be with somebody who is doing all of this?
Can I just make one quick point?
Well, I want to let Deborah talk because
yeah.
she just came in, and I kind of want to get her take on things.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jasmine. So what I wanted to start off saying is, like dating is like applying for a job. There's certain qualifications, and the more qualifications, the more flexibility you have in terms of who you choose to hire, So it just it is what it is. Like it's just like any other, like I said, just applying for a job. It's qualifications there, and if you don't meet the qualifications, then the other person has the upper hand. They don't have to hire you.
Can I just make one quick point that I think that is so scary to me when he put out those numbers? I said, you got to be kidding me. All throughout the media, we've heard a bunch of deadbeat black men. None of them take care of their kids. All they do is have a harem of kids. All they're doing is dropping kids from left to right. Come to find out, the numbers are 50% of black men don't even have children. They're sitting in the middle
Yeah,
class. And then
absolutely.
all you see all up in 2018, 19, 20, 21, you see a whole bunch of black women that are on YouTube having vlogs of them living in cars because they are homeless. You have the news of these black women that are going homeless and being evicted with their children by themselves. So it's very weird that I don't care about this, the money and the finances and the high this and again, it's trend words because everybody's a narcissist, everybody's a high value person. At the end of the day, the regular 9 to 5 person, everyday person that looks like a normal person, she is getting knocked up. I don't care if you're telling me she's a 10, a 15, a 2, or 1. She's having children by these men. So we need to have this quick wake up thing. Take away Kevin and the trend names and everything. Wake up, ladies. Wake up. You're going to find yourself homeless in a car by yourself, saying that you don't need a man and all of this. And meanwhile, this one sitting in literally the middle class and he don't even have no children.
Right.
I don't think a lot of these, like, because I feel like when you talk about the black community, specifically in America, I feel like people need to break it down in segments because there are different segments of the black community. These little, to me, you have your poverty line blacks who feed into the hip hop sort of mindset of what blacks should have. And then you have this fading middle class blacks who have acquired education and skill, and now they're trying to continuously try to actualize themselves in a ever-changing economy. And then you have these people who are your LeBrons and your Oprahs, who we don't never really have to worry about them, right? So I feel like when you're talking about the mindset of the black community and the one that is most acceptable to these negative influences and these situations of young women being, in cycles of having like baby daddies and stuff. I mean, a lot of this is at the poverty line.
It's not. I mean? Yaya Mayweather. The rest of these women that have access to all types of funds, they still turn around and end up with a Pookie and a Ray Ray.
But they can take care of those kids, though. You know what I mean? We're talking about two different types of women.
Angie, take care of them financially and having your child be a part of the statistics because they did not have a father. That's two different things. So even again with the Kevin thing,
break that down though. Can we just say that, like, for example, I am not with my kid's father, but my
Angie, you're just one person
right now, and they will be back right in the morning. So not 80%. Every single situation where you're not with the father means that the kids are not going to get the value of two parents. I didn't work out with their dad. That's fine. But I'm not going to disrespect him and keep him out of the loop so that we can't collaboratively raise our children together.
But Angie, you may not do that, but 80% are being told your daddy ain't ish. Your daddy's a deadbeat.
We got to change that mindset, though. We got to stop fostering that.
All right. So the question that I want to end on to everyone on the chat here is obviously there is a divide within the Black community on this issue of whether Kevin Samuels is helping or harming the community. Taking Kevin Samuels out of the equation, what can help the Black community? Like, what is the answer? How? What is the answer?
One by one. Take care of your own household. Make sure you're mentally right. Get yourself a husband. There are, like I said, amazing Black men walking around here every day. They ready to go. So stop sitting up here and, oh, well, he doesn't have that. And really, sometimes we just want to have a certain look of a guy just so I can make Jasmine jealous, Angie jealous, Deborah jealous, and Larry jealous. You don't even care about the dang old man. You just want to be able to have that person as an ornament. You want this person to say, oh, well, he's the pastor first son of the deacon. It don't even matter.
And the wedding.
It's girl. Listen, that's a whole. But even with that conversation being had, it's up to each of us on our own. I cannot. I just found Kevin a couple of months ago. Before then, how was I able to get married? It wasn't with Kevin. Before then, how was I able to graduate college? It wasn't with Kevin. Before then, how was I able to do? But we have to realize that one person cannot be the dictator of your whole entire being.
Yeah.
Find your own life. Get your
Actualize
life
yourself.
together. Get you a man, get you some happiness, and you will be all right. That's per Black community, and then all of a sudden together, you will see a little number, and it's like, oh, okay, we got a little tribe over here. Everybody's doing all right over here. Okay, let's move forward.
And
I would say
Go
same
ahead.
thing. Actualize yourself and live by the Black blueprint.
Okay, my
Actualize
take
yourself
is
and live by the Black blueprint. That is how we help the Black community. Deborah,
Yeah, the Black blueprint of success is structured families that is incorporated with moral and religious accountability and examples of success that is translated to those generations. And that's how you do it. The Black blueprint of success starts with a structured Black family and nothing more, with that top of the sort of the pie being God. Black people have removed the accountability of God from even being in the equation of any relationship. So we need to get back to the Lord's standards of what a proper marital relationship is. Because you got to remember, when you say I do, a lot of people think that marriage is just a piece of paper. But if you're a Christian, marriage is a contract before God. These are vows before God, right? So we need to learn how to build strong Black families that have a sense of moral and religious compass to it. And I think that is the start to solving a lot of these problems.
Larry?
my take is that we should, as the Black community, stop looking for individuals to dictate what relationships look like, period. Whether it be Derek Jackson, Kevin Samuels, or Oprah, any of these the relationships that are out there, and start to look at what love is for ourselves and try to make sure that we find someone that loves us for who we are and that we can love for who they are. Once we understand that purpose, then we can also then go move forward. Not every relationship is meant for everyone to be in the same household. There are some people that live separately and love each other just as fine. There are some people that love that are truck drivers and live on the road. Point of the matter is that we need to find what love makes us happy personally, not compare it to anybody else's. Find that love and judge that love based off of what your needs are, and then go forth and find that love and pursue that love with all the happiness and energy that you possibly can. From that point in perspective, I think that's fine. I understand that we like entertainment or whatever, but I don't think that we should dictate or move as a monolith to say that my relationship is better than yours because my mate does this or my mate does that. I think that we should just say, okay, my mate loves me. Period. Dot. Full stop. No, nothing beyond that. If you can say that and you rock with that, then it needs not. Then you need not have to apply any other reasoning for this. You don't need a yacht to love somebody. You don't need a house to love somebody. People have been married with less, and there are relationships out there that are longer for less. So my thing is just redefining what a man is, redefining what a woman is, and redefining what a relationship is outside of gender or social norms that are prevailing that are negative. That's my take.
Ashe. Ashe.
And Jasmine,
Yes.
my boyfriend is in the room. He would like to say something, actually, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
His name is Chris.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good evening.
I was just listening to the conversation. I just said it's okay if I could join on the conversation. And I've listened to Kevin Samuels actually a lot over the past 4 or 5 months. I tend to think that he actually is doing more harm for the Black community than good. That's just me personally. But I'll make this real quick. I think there's 3 things that I just think he's flat out wrong with. I'll make it real quick, and then I say there's 2 things that I think I think could help the black community I mentioned. So the three things that I think he's flat out wrong with. When I listen to him on the show, he's always talking about like a woman's place is like a helpmate, all that mess. That's just some BS. To me, you get in a relationship, y'all come together, y'all look at the resources, and y'all work it out collectively. There's nobody that's inherently just more suited than to necessarily be in the leadership. It's a collective thing. The other thing I think where he's just flat out wrong with, I feel like he's always telling people like back in my generation, my grandmother was married with 3-4 kids. And I'm like, yeah, that was the 1950s. Nowadays, the cost of living is way higher. People, it's a different reality to get those type of jobs. So I think he needs to stop saying that. And the other thing that I find it fascinating that he's always encouraging everybody to marry, but he's always telling women to marry older men. And for a person that's so statistically based, if you actually just look at the statistics, age gap marriages have some of the highest divorce rates, particularly when they're over like 8 to 10 years. So I kind of feel like he's a little bit wrong on those things. Where I do feel like he's a little bit right on, and I know this may be a little bit uncomfortable for some people to listen to. I do definitely feel like a lot of black women have developed like a lot of unrealistic expectations for black men, and I think I'll just focus on two things where I do think he's right. One, I remember when I was back in college, I used to hear this all the time. A lot of sisters were always saying, I'm not going to be a pick me, and I'm not going to be a pick me. And I was like, what y'all mean by that? Like, I'm not going to do anything for men. And I do feel like over time, I'm not sure when this started, but I do feel like a lot of sisters just started looking at black men as like dusty, excuse my language, that we ain't shit. And I don't got to do anything for a black man. And I think one of the reasons Kevin Samuels kind of roused up a lot of black women is because it's probably the first time ever that we've seen somebody publicly say, okay, black men kind of do have some standards. I feel like a lot of black women are like, what? Kind of look at black men as sometimes beneath them. So that sometimes can be a little unsettling. And the other thing where I kind of tend to agree with Kevin Samuels on is when I saw this a lot in college. I see this a lot in my everyday social circle. I feel like a lot of black women are sacrificing relationship for their career. And the reality of the situation is, I mean, that's cool. I think everybody should not, no woman should depend on a man solely. But I think in my experience, a lot of black women have been led to believe that career will somehow be able to sacrifice two incomes. And I'm gonna keep it real. Whether you're a man or a woman in this country, that's just not the case for most people. And I think there needs to be somewhat of a realignment among both black men and black women, kind of saying how we look at each other. And I just close by saying this. I don't want to take up all y'all time. My ultimate reason why I feel like Kevin Samuels has ultimately did more harm for the community, even though I do agree with some things he says, black women ain't the enemy of black men. I feel like ultimately, if we really look at it,
he never said that though.
What you say?
He never said that though.
I know he's never said that.
So why you say that?
Let me clarify. I'm gonna clarify why I'm saying that. The reason why we in this position right now of all this animosity between black men and black women is just, let's just keep it real. Our opportunities to like get all this money in this racist country, let's just keep it real, is somewhat limited. And I think what we really need to is get away from this high value conversation. And I think what we really need to do is just come together as people and say, listen, if we're gonna start getting like real black relationships, black men and women, is we just need to come together and just say, yo, I got you, you got me. And that's the way it used to be. And because if we keep on trying to base our relationships on money, on high value, let's keep it real. That value is not going to be there forever. We're going to end up being in this rat race forever. And I think we just kind of got to look at it a little differently. That's all I'm saying. So I'll leave. Y'all can get back to our conversation. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and make some comments. Well, if you really watched the show for like 4 or 5 months the way you say you have, you would realize that what he's mainly trying to do is get average women to go for average black men. And he realizes that a lot of average black women have unrealistic standards, aiming for the top 10% of men. And they're leaving the entire 90% of black men thinking they're beneath them, and they're not. Like, if you think you're a 10 in your head, but you think this black man over here is a 5, you're not going to want to deal with. You're going to call him a dusty and all sorts of things. And also, I would see why you would have a problem with it, because you don't even lead in your own relationship. You just said that a woman being a man's helpmate is a problem. Like, that's some type of toxic masculinity. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
I never said toxic masculinity.
We all know black women are supposed to be the helpmates of black men, and black men are supposed to lead in their relationships. It's not supposed to be like a partnership. No, you're the man. You're supposed to be the head of your household.
Nah, it's supposed to be a partnership.
You're supposed to provide for your family and your children. You're not supposed to be reliant upon your wife for that.
Okay, can I keep it real with you? I'm gonna keep it real. Me and my girl, we both had a relationship. We both make good money. We partner together and we work it out. So
you don't feel you're supposed to lead in your household?
Say that one more time?
So you feel like you're not supposed to be the provider and the leader in your household?
No, I don't feel. So here's what I feel like. I feel like, let me take this one. Here's what I know. I know that my girlfriend, she has a lot of things that she brings to the table, and I have a lot of things to it. What we do, we look at the resources, whether these be financial, material, whatever we do, and we come together and we work out things collectively. No, I don't necessarily I don't buy into this old-fashioned biblical. I'm gonna keep this real. I'm not a Christian, so I don't buy into that religious dogma. I don't.
It's not religious.
Where's he getting it from then?
A man being the leader of his household is not religious. That's something that's been like worldwide throughout all different types of cultures.
No, it doesn't. That comes directly from European Western Christianity.
That's been in different types of cultures, not just European cultures. Men have always led their society.
Was it in African culture?
Unless you're talking about an Amazonian society, men have always ruled and led their society. So I don't understand where you're getting that from.
That's not true.
Then point out one female-led civilization on Earth.
Point out, actually, if you study Africa pre-colonization, as y'all
I'm talking about today.
You're talking about today?
Today.
No, there's no female-led system on this earth.
In the last 500 years.
Excuse me?
In the last 500 years.
In the last 500 years. No, because they went across
in the last 1,000 years.
In the last 1,000 years, yes, you can actually find some cultures pre-colonization.
Name it.
Name up. You can go look at
how many and name it.
Okay, if you're gonna ask me a question,
I want to jump in real quick.
That's the problem. You can't even name it.
I keep trying to name them, and you won't let me talk.
Hold on, please, because
he can't name it.
Hold on, wait. Listen, I just want us to have a classy, healthy dialogue. I would like everyone to finish their sentences. Let's listen to each other. Let's actively listen, okay? Let's be chill. We chill. We're having a good time, you know. Black people, come on. I'm gonna unmute y'all. Just cool. Okay, cool. All right.
So I just want to say real off top, real quick, like I understand where Jermaine's coming from, and I agree with you. I just think that with your definition of lead is one thing. So, you know what I'm saying, judge me however you feel. But in my household, when it's with me and my wife, me leading is not necessarily me making every decision, me doing this. It's not a draconian situation.
I did not say you made every decision, bro. I did not say that's what leading was.
I know.
I said you're being the head of your household.
Yes, I understand that, being the head of your household. But the fact of the matter is that it's still a partnership. So whether I'm the head or not, Whether I got 51% or she got 49%, it doesn't matter to me. The fact of the matter is that this household is together and moving forward. So regardless of who the leader is, if there's always a leader, there's got to be a follower. The problem is that if the follower doesn't get to buy into some of the leadership, then they're just being dragged along for the process.
So you don't think that man should be the head of the household? That's what you don't think.
First off, I don't think
this is the problem with both of you cats.
I don't think one person should be a head of the household.
Okay, let him finish. Okay.
I don't think one person should be the head of the household. If it's two people in that household, it's two grown adults, two individuals who have enough sense to be able to lead and put everything first forward, then let that be. And now, if the other person is subservient or submissive, wants that person to lead, then let that person lead. But you will let your woman lead you and provide for you. First off, if my woman is leading and providing for me, then I'm doing
you will let your woman lead and provide for you.
If she's leading and providing for me, I'm doing all the supplementary things to make sure that the household is complete. There are more than one way to contribute to a relationship. And
I can't rock with cats like you.
Lead to contribute, then you're so misled. I'm sorry on that one.
I can't rock with cats like you, bro. I can't.
It's fine, and I understand. I'm not for the cat that's out there like that. I'm not the one. That's not what man. That got to be the. I'm not trying to be alpha, beta, sigma, theta, whatever. I'm trying to be me for my relationship and what's perfect for my.
I know.
I'm not the perfect man. I'm the perfect man for her though. And if that's all that matters, then that's all that matters.
A lot of women like beta males.
That's fine. Whatever I don't care about what they like. I care about what my boo like.
You care about what your wife like, and she obviously like a beta man.
And that could be all fine and dandy. Whatever you want to classify me as, brother, that's on you. But at the end of the day,
I'm not classifying. That's what you are. That's what you classified yourself as.
Fine, whatever, champ.
Okay.
I can't rock with cats who don't lead.
Okay.
How do you define alpha man? I'm curious, Jermaine. How do you define that?
Okay, answer that.
Bro, I've been married 10 years. Ain't no way in hell I'm letting my wife provide for me. You a poor excuse of a man if you do that shit. Period. No excuse.
Okay, right, but then I'm trying to figure out. So if you got to go out there and you provide or whatever, right? And you have to provide for her. Say you get hurt, you get sick, or whatever it is, whatever some ungodly incident happens to you, and you can't provide anymore. What then? You divorce her because you can't be the leader anymore?
No, I'm not divorcing her. I'm providing for her. She's my helpmate. That's why she helps me if I go down. Do you understand? This is the problem with a lot of you dudes, especially nowadays. You don't understand your role as a man. You want to play the role as a woman so much, you don't understand what it takes to be a real man because you wasn't raised to be a real man.
What is a real man?
I was raised around real men, so I know.
Real men? Oh, you go to work all day? Just because you go to work don't make you no real man, champ?
No, I make money all day.
Or you get money all day?
I provide for my family and my kids. That's what I do.
I get money too.
You listen to her. Do you feed her? Do you do any of these things?
Just y'all let bros take care of you.
Nothing, champ. You put in 40.
You let a woman take care of you, fam.
Like, I don't understand. You let your woman take care of you, fam. Like, you raised by real men. You still did. You gave me no definition of what real man is.
You got a weak mentality.
Okay, listen, guys. You know what? This was a very interesting dialogue, but I am tired. I don't think we're going to solve the issues of the Black community in this one live. I don't know what else to say, but thank you all for joining, and I
appreciate your live, Jasmine. I appreciate your live. I just had to come up here and set this shit straight because this shit is out of line. This shit out of pocket.
Keep it clean. I'm not trying to get you monetized. Keep it clean. Thank you for coming through, Jermaine. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Listen. Woo! What an eventful live. I am mentally exhausted. Look, I don't know how to end this on a thoughtful, critical, insightful level. I just wish we as a Black community could all come together and just live in harmony. I understand we're not all alike. There's different family dynamics. And you know what? That's okay. I think what is important, or just like someone mentioned this before, like one of the ways we can help the Black community is to do it for ourselves and for our families, and show everyone how we do it for our families. And then hopefully they can be inspired to do the same. And with that being said, that is it. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please support me. Super chats are welcome here. Okay, I've been on here for 2 hours. But it was a great conversation nonetheless. And I'm so thankful that all of you guys commented and provided your feedback. I really appreciate it. That is all. That's it. Thank you all. I'm sure you guys want to go watch KS now. So with this, I bid you adieu. Adieu, adieu to you and you and you. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.